take you to East Central Africa now, and Uganda puts Kyangwali Refugee Settlement under lockdown. That's after 8 workers tested positive for COVID-19 there. According to the UNHCR, the settlement hosts about 120,000 refugees, mainly those fleeing insecurity from the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Uganda accounts for over 2,300 positive cases and over 20 deaths. We're joined now by our correspondent in Uganda, Isabel Nakirya. Isabel, thank you very much for joining us. It is said that Uganda is home to more than 1.4 million refugees. Mostly, we just talked about the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia and Ethiopia, among other spaces. What does this essentially mean for people living in this refugee camp?
Just to give you a sense of the refugee status that has been locked down, Kyangwali Refugee Settlement is located very close to the border with the DRC. And in the DRC, where there are many cases and with porous border points along the border, I mean the unmanned border points, refugees are sometimes sneaking in and out of the country. And with high cases in the DRC, there are very many chances that some of these refugees can come back with the virus. And in fact, the district task force in that district, Chikube district in western Uganda, says one of the refugees is suspected to have crossed back into the DRC. And when he came back, he was already sick. And of course, he infected over 20 refugees in the settlement. And you know the status of refugees, settlements here in Uganda is not very good. They're all cramped up. The sanitation is not good. Water sources are few. And with such situations, the virus can easily, spread very fast. So we are told the settlement has been put on lockdown for about 14 days. The UN Refugee Agency is working very close with the district task force to enforce the safety measures. We are told that the district has sent in soap and water to the settlement, and of course, enforcing the mandatory wearing of masks by everyone. Of course, refugees cannot afford masks, and the UN Refugee Agency says they are using the refugee tailors within the settlement to make some masks for them to wear all the time. About 80,000 masks have already been made, and they will be distributed all over the settlement for them to wear. They've registered one death, of course, and many of the refugees that tested positive have now been put under quarantine. And of course, the aid workers are also under quarantine for 14 days. And after that, they will, of course, review those measures and see what they can ease down or not.
2 issues on what you've just shared with us. The fact that it is alleged that a refugee went out of the camp and went to the Democratic Republic of Congo, coming back and potentially having infected other people and infected themselves. You're also saying that there are sanitary issues in terms of the living conditions that the refugees are under. Who else has contact with the refugees within this camp that could have potentially exposed them as well? How sure is the government that there was a breach where somebody went out into another country and brought COVID-19 into Uganda?
Of course, Uganda locked down the country, all its borders, and of course the airports are closed. But on 1st July, the president said that the borders should be open, so that some.
Our Uganda correspondent Isabel Nakirya, unfortunately, the connection there freezing, not able to give you those details, but we'll try and re-establish it. If we're lucky, we'll bring you those news.